The odds of a student passing Mr. D's class are 14 to 1. So this means passing, and the 1 means not passing, right? State the probability of a student passing his math class. So we're talking probability. So we're going from odds to probability. So there needs to be something added, right? So you have the 15, the 14 and the 1 turn to 15. I'll give you 1 mark for that already. Today we're just giving away marks like there's no tomorrow, right? And then the probability of passing, the top mark would be 14. The top 1 mark goes to the 14. So if you've got 14 over 15, you get 2 marks there. If Mr. teaches 95 grade 11 students in a year, how many, technically this should say how many are expected to pass, right? We don't know for sure, but the idea is to use whatever you got up here. So even if this is wrong, if that's what you're using here, we're going to multiply that by 95, and we get 88.66, and that keeps going. So you can say either 88 or 89, whichever one you chose. Okay, let's just make sure. I would always recommend when you're figuring out number of, just put a unit there, whatever is associated with that scenario. The probability of Sisla's volleyball team winning an upcoming tournament will be 4 over 15. I hope you understand this is probability, right? Even without it saying there. Because if it says the Sisler has a 4 over 15 chance of winning, that's also probability, right? State the odds of Sisler winning the tournament. You're going from probability to odds. There will be some subtraction there. So we know that 4 goes here, and this would be 11. Right? Essentially 15 minus 4. You subtract them to get the 11 here. So is that right? Yeah. So 411 is the 15. I was just making sure I didn't miss. If you missed the 4 or against, the whole thing could be wrong, right? So I just wanted to make sure I got that right. State the odds against Sisler winning. Whatever you have up here, I just need it flipped. So even if you get this wrong, you get the mark here. I would say, sorry, going back to this one, I give you 1 mark for the 4 and 1 mark for the 11. So if you get that, if you put 15 here, you lose 1 mark. Okay? You get half. There are 4 blue, 6 green, 5 red marbles. We've got 15 total. That is probably your first thing you should do in probability. Find out your total and then answer. The odds against drawing a blue marble. This is here important. The odds against. So that means you'll have blue here, and not blue will come on the left side. Perhaps the easiest thing is to just get the blues in first. And that means that 11, right? These the 6 and the 5, the 11 will go here. Or if you want to think about it, you take your total, you subtract the 4 to get the 11. So 1 mark for the 11, 1 mark for the 4. If you have 4 and 11 but they're flipped, I give you 1 out of 2 today. State the odds of drawing a green marble of, right? So that means green first and then not green second. And I'm just going to go and do it this way. 6 and then total minus 6, so you've got 6 to 9. Correct? And you can reduce that. Both of them are divisible by 3, so you could go 2 to 3 if you want to. It's not a must. But again, 1 mark for the 6, 1 mark for the 9. Probability of drawing a red marble. Reds, there are 5 of them. And then 50 minus 5. Take away the reds from the total. That's 5 to 10. Or just think about the blue and the green. They combine to the 10. Whichever way you come up with, that's fine. So 1 mark for each. So 5 goes in there once, goes in there twice. So this is technically 1 to 2. Because the province could have had this scenario and asked you which one of the following is the odds of drawing a red, and they may only have 1 to 2 on the as one of your options. So you kind of do need to know how to simplify. State the odds against drawing a red. I already have the odds in favor, so I'm just going to go ahead and flip that. That's it. This should not be worth 2 marks. Oh, you caught me. You're laughing. Yeah. I wasn't reading. It's probability, right? Stop me, please. Stop me, please. I didn't read. I'm rushing. Stop rushing. Okay. Let's try that again. Probability. I was just showing you how to be careful, right? That's all. We've got 15, and reds, we have 5 reds, right? So that is the probability, which is 1 over 3, right? 5, you can divide this by 5, you can divide that by 5. If you can divide both of them by the same number, it's you can simplify it. And think about it, we had 1 to 2 here, right? This was wrong, but think about it. If you add 1 and 2, you get your 3, and the 1 goes up there, right? So technically, everything is connected. So 1 mark for the 1 or for the 5, it doesn't matter which one you've done, and 1 mark for the 15. Jets play the Senators. Odds of the Jets winning are 5 to 4. That means that this is winning, and the 4 represents losing, right? State the odds against the Jets winning. Please don't do anything other than this. That's all you need to do. You've got odds. If you want to write them against, just flip. State the probability. Make sure you read. Probability of the Jets winning. I'm going to add them up. And the 5 represents the win, right? So 5 over 9. There we go. So 1 mark for each as well. State the probability against the Jets winning. You have choices. You can just go back to the top and just grab the 4, and then 5 plus 4 again, right? It's 4 over 9. Or you could have just looked at this and said, hey, if 5 over 9 wins, that means 4 over 9 losses, okay? So whatever works for you, 1 mark for each correct entry there. What are we at? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 16, 18, 19. Got 19 for this page. So give yourselves a mark there. I'm not going to argue with you a whole lot. It's almost like a mini assignment, right? Instead of taking it home, you do it in class. That's how I see this. Okay. Wheel. So Laura is spinning the wheel. She spins 25 times and recorded the following results. Just in case, listen carefully. The 25 is a courtesy, but if they didn't, if they just said, hey, here are the results, just add it up, right? 8 and 7 is 15. Another 10 is 25, right? So just be mindful of that. It won't always be. So 25 experiments, trials. So state all answers in fraction and decimal. I'm not going to be too picky right today. If you just get it right, the fraction, you're fine. So theoretical probability of landing on purple, I don't care about the results. I go over here. There are 2 out of 5. So this should be 2 out of 5 in theory. That would be 0.4. So 1 mark for that. I think it's 1.5 for each. Yes. So we've got 3 marks for A, 1.5. So 1.5 and 1.5 as well for the experimental. Turning it into a decimal is the half. So experimental, we've got 4 purples out of the 25 experiments that were performed. That amounts to 0.16. So they're way off. Way off. What's the problem? Didn't spin enough times. That's like your go-to, that the sample is too small. B, the probability of the spinner landing on red. So we've got 1 red out of 5. That's 0.2. So that's 1.5 marks. 1 for the probability, half for decimal. And experimental probability, we go back to the actual results. There's 7 out of 25. So 7 out of 25, and that is 0.28. So you get 1.5 for that as well. So 3 marks for B. And I was hoping that you would use these answers to come up with this, because this asks for odds. Okay? So what are the odds in theory? The theoretical, you just use this here. It would be 2 to 3. Because remember, you got to have your 5 there. So the 2 are purple, 3 are non-purple, everything else. Experimental before 2, 21. Because you take the 4 away from the 25 to come up with the 21. So these each just get 1 mark like that. And obviously, okay, I should say, if you made a mistake here, but you're using these numbers to come up with your odds, if I see that in any way, you still get the 2 marks for the odds here. Okay, I wouldn't take marks away again. So let's say you went 1/5, then this should be 1 to 4. Okay? And last but not least, Flora spins a spinner 1,850 times. How many times should she expect it to land on yellow? So what you need to do here is prediction. You're making a prediction, so you're going to go probability of yellow times 1850. So probability of yellow, we're not going to go by the experiment. We're going to go by the theoretical. So 1 in 5 times 1850, that ends up being exactly 370 times. So you get, I would say, you get a mark for getting this right, the 1/5, and another mark for actually multiplying. It should be 370. So this back page is 3, 6, 10. This back side is worth 10 marks. So just give yourselves a mark there, whatever it's supposed to, whatever you think it's supposed to be. Maybe you can even give yourselves a little bit of marks for the work, even though it's all wrong. We'll still give you a few marks here and there. So you decide.